Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening, first and foremost, to get the invite. I'm very thankful for that, as always, to be in the place that I'm in now. As Brother Will said, my name is Quinton White. I do have a doctorate in Christian counseling. I'm also a QMHP, which means I'm a qualified mental health professional, and I'm also a state certified recovery coach, recovery specialist. With all of those accolades, it's cool, but I just thank God for where I'm at today, because you're looking at someone that has spent 2 terms in prison, that has lost a business, has basically been homeless, going through so many other emotional situations. Just had an aunt pass the other day at the house. You know what I'm saying? We go in the bedroom, she gone. You know, so dealing with all of that, I just thank God to be able to sit here today. Those accolades don't mean nothing if I wouldn't have decided for myself to change some of the things that I had to do with myself. So today I'm really sitting here talking about empowerment, which is a verb, and basically it's giving the authority to be able to do something. And so that's what I'm here to talk about you guys here today. I know Mr. Mike just got through talking with y'all about, about child support situations and those type of things, which are very important as a man. Because if you're going to make a baby, you need to take care of that baby. Being biological, I don't mean nothing if you're not doing anything for them. Because there are a bunch of good surrogate fathers out there. Believe me, I know. I raised a young lady up from the age of 4 years old. She's 26 now. So this is what we want to look at today. We want to look at who we are as an individual and the power that lies within us, the power that has been given to us. And as a youth pastor, I am licensed and ordained, and as a youth pastor, one of the things, empowerment is something that us fathers have been ordained to give to our kids. We have been ordained to bless our kids and empower them. And too many times we have left it up to the mother, when it is our duties and our job to empower them in the things that they should do and the ways they should go. And that's one thing we need to look at here. We can look at all day about, I'm paying child support and she not doing this, she not doing that. Yet and still, as a father, as a daddy, you still have things that you have to do regardless of those situations. There are 3 P's and 3 G's that I talk about. And I talk about this in some of the life skills and social conduct classes that I teach. And the 3 P's is provider, protector, and promoter. You should always, regardless of your situation, regardless of how you feel about that woman, regardless of how you feel about her family, if that's your seed, you should be a provider. Number 1, you have been equipped and empowered to be a provider. It is your duty, because that is your child. Secondly, protector. You have to be able to protect that child in any type of way you can. And that means even protecting them from any harm that you could do to them, possibly by neglecting them because of whatever you're going through with someone else. And we have to get away from that, because I see so many that do that. Because they got a situation going on with the mother, they forget about the kid. And then doing that, you have them unprotected, and you're not protecting them like you should. And so then, when we do that, then we allow other things to creep in. We allow drug dealers gang members, pedophiles, child molesters. We allow all of these things to creep in because we have decided to step back because of our emotions, or should I say emotions. And then promoter. That's a very important one. Promoting. Just like a boxing match, a football game, they promote it, and I'm talking about they make it look like it's the greatest thing ever. Well, as a father, how are you promoting your family? And that goes by how you are carrying yourself as a man. Those are some of the attributes that I had to work on myself. Especially, going to prison and getting out of prison. I had to look at myself, and I had to start defining myself and who I was, not what I was guilty of, but who I was defined as a man and what I was created to be. And so as I started promoting myself in a responsible way, as I started respecting who I was, because the way you carry yourself, the way you, okay, you didn't pay your child support, or this woman allows the kids to be with you. What example are you giving those kids? How are you promoting yourself? When those kids go back home, when they go back to school, what are they taking with them? Because the way you do whatever you do, guess what? That's what they're going to do. So you have to be careful on how you do things, because your influence is a major influence, because, believe it or not, you men are some of the greatest specimen there is. Because without you, nothing is possible. A woman can give birth and have a baby, but she needs what? You to do this. So the way you promote yourself and the way you do things is how a lot of times situations are going to expand itself. So we got to learn those three things: provider, protector, and promoter. We got to use those three P's, and we got to implement those in our lives, and we got to wake up every day. We got to wake up every day with the mindset of that when I walk out this house, that I'm going to walk out in a certain way that is going to allow me to be a better man.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
As you was raised, how old is your daughter now? 26.
She's 26.
As you was raising your child, when she was in her adolescent stages,
Kiara was 4 years old when I got with her mother. You understand? And I've been a part of her life since she became 26.
That's why I want to ask you a question about her adolescent growth as she developed as a preteen to a teenager. Because my daughter, she's about to enter the teen stages.
Okay.
So what are some examples that you had set when you was raising your child?
Well, one of the examples I set is how I talked and treated her mother. Even as a child, doing certain things that a lot of people take for granted. I would actually open up doors for her. I had to spank her a couple of times for cussing in school and this and that, but I would sit down and talk to her about why I did this and that. But basically what I did was, as a man, I showed her a side of manhood that she didn't see at first, because her dad Jerry did a lot of time in prison. So he basically wasn't there in her life. He's there now because he's out and he's older, and we cool. But I just basically, gave love to her mother, and showed her how a man should treat a woman. And by doing this, she actually, wouldn't allow certain things or certain people, certain men, to come into her life. She didn't have her first child till she was 24. And she works in a doctor's office. She's doing great. She's doing fabulous. She got her own place. She got a nice car. She got money in the bank. And I think these are some of the attributes that, her mama did a great job, but also her being able to see that she could actually be loved by a man without being used by a man and thinking that sex is the only way you can find love with somebody. So even if you're not in their lives every day, the time that you are in their lives, whether it's a young boy or a young girl, you want to do certain things that are going to leave a lasting impression on them. If it's a little boy, you know, you don't want to stand around and be calling women this and that, and he overhearing this, because what happens is he starts believing this is how it's supposed to go. With a young girl, hey, sit down with her. When you come home from a long day working, you tired, and you go by to see her, whatever. She may want to play house and drink tea, and you have to. And as a man, you should sit down and say, okay, let me do this with my daughter and show her this is how it's to be. Take her out to dinner. Have a date with her. Get your son, take him out, talk to him, let him see how it really is, because there are so many negative things that are going on in society now, and as parents, we're too busy allowing other things to raise and train our kids. Social media, BET videos, and all of these different concepts that are out here. We're too busy allowing that, and because we're so caught up in ourselves and what we're trying to do, that we're forgetting that our job is to empower, because having a child is a blessing first and foremost. Everybody can't have kids. So to have a child is a blessing. But you must be willing to sacrifice everything within who you are as a person to make sure this child grow up, and you train it in the way that they should go. That when they get older, even if they stray out, they do have an opportunity to survive, because they have been empowered with something that you have given them. And then you have the 3 G's: guard, gird, and guide. As men, we have to learn to guard. We have to learn to guard ourselves, but also be able to guard our kids. Keep them from being able to get involved with things that are negative. We have to learn to do that, because, as I said again, society is getting unruly, and we're all losing the fact that we are losing that thing that kept us in the 70s, in the 60s. We're losing that aspect of raising up our kids now and empowering them in such a way that we could. My grandmother guarded me from so many things. At times I thought she just didn't like me. Because she wouldn't allow me to do certain things, and I didn't understand the concept behind it. But not understanding her wisdom, knowing that she already had training in raising her own kids. So when she got to me, she knew what she needed to do, and it kept me. I didn't go to prison until I was 25. What she did allowed me to graduate high school, go to college, play college ball, do all of this stuff here, and I didn't get locked up till I was 25 years old. And I knew better then. It wasn't what she did, because she did everything she was supposed to do. So we have to guard them from certain things. We have to guard them from certain things they listen to, certain things they look at, certain things they say. It ain't cute. It ain't cute to, watch what he say, this and that. We have to guard that, because if not, I tell you like this here, you're going to either train them in the high chair, or you're going to see them going to the electric chair. So it's on you as a daddy. And I'm talking about a daddy, not a father. I'm talking about a daddy, because a daddy is special. Because I didn't have a big part in my daddy's life. But I'm going to tell you how that works. I do now. When I was growing up, he wasn't around that much. But now we spend time together. We sit down together and he talks to me. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what nobody say. When I sit down with my dad and I talk to him, we sit down and laugh, and I feel like I'm his age. And he don't know how much that means to me. But it does. So the effect you have to your kids and to your family is greater than what you could ever expect. And I always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And you have to gird. You have to gird. That means you have to cover. You have to cover. Not only cover you, but you have to cover your children and your family. When you get out of whack, when you do things that is against who you are as a person, you not only uncover you, but you uncover them. And if you uncover them too much, then you're setting them up for failure. You setting things up for the enemy to come in and kill, steal, and destroy, and take away what has been empowered to you. And you're not using it, and you're not being faithful over the things that's been put in your hand. So we have to learn how to gird, cover, and we have to keep ourselves covered. We have to know that we can't do this or do that. We have to understand that, because you're talking about, Mr. Mike talking about child support and talking about the things you have to pay, but if you crazy, if you out there acting a fool, then you ain't got to worry about child support. You worry about them CPS people. You got to worry about other people that don't even want you around the kid because you ain't fit to do nothing. So you have to understand that if you're not empowered as a person, as a man, regardless of race, color, creed, ethnic background, regardless of all of that, you got to know how to carry yourself in a responsible way. As I said before, forget what you did in the past. Yeah, I'm guilty of going to prison, but that don't define who I am as a man. Mm-hmm. And who I am as a man is what I start presenting and representing every day. You know, because if I go up to people now and talk to them and sit down with them, this and that, they'll never know I went to prison until I tell them. And that's what you want. See, you know, when people talk to you, you know, they should see you. They shouldn't see what you was trying to be. They should see you. They shouldn't see what you wanted to be or thought you were. They should see you. And the next thing, God. Your GPS system got to be right. Your GPS system got to be right. You got to, anybody can steer the boat. But it takes a leader. It takes a true man to guide, to take this boat where it needs to go. And when you're able to guide yourself and carry yourself in a certain way, then you can empower your kids and whomever else that is in your circle. You have to be able to guide them. And I'm talking about, because I talk to men all the time. And I talk to men all the time, and I try to beat it in their heads how important we are and how the world is trying to strip us away from who we are as individuals, as men. And they're using all kind of tactics. Whether it's with the child support and trying to steadily bring you down. Every time you make more money, they taking more money. It seems like every time you come up, you're coming back down. Regardless of what it is, regardless of the situation, you got to understand this. If you allow it to happen, you're giving away the power that has been invested in you. And we as men have to, some way, somehow, in God, stand firm on who we are and the things we have to do, because we cannot be neglected and neglect ourselves in what we're supposed to be and the responsibilities that we have as an individual and as a person.
No, just 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, so we have to be able to have our GPS system on the right way. We got to know the road that we're going down. We got to have, we got to have a plan. And we got to have a purpose. And your plan should be able not only to be beneficial to you, but to be beneficial to your kids. Because it ain't what you can buy them, all the material things, it's what you can leave them that will allow them to build on something when you're not even here. So you have to be able to guide them into that aspect of the whole realm of the situation. So you are empowered as man, you know, and you don't never give up, regardless of the situation. If you have to go get another job, whatever you have to do, pick up Ken, whatever. Do whatever you have to do, but do whatever you have to do that's going to keep your integrity. Because what's going on is that we're losing our character as a person, our integrity, and our dignity. And when you lose those, you lose you. You lose you. If I ask one person here, and I ask the question, if I ask one person here today, if I just looked at you and I said, who are you? I'm asking you, who are you?
Hyman.
Huh?
Hyman.
I didn't ask you your name. I said, who are you?
Oh, nobody.
Yes, you are. You are somebody. That's the question I'm asking. See, that's the thing I'm talking about. How many times have you looked in the mirror and you told yourself who you were? See, because if I wanted to know your name, Hyman, I would say, what's your name, brother?
Hyman.
Now, thank you. When I say, who are you? You should be able to stand up and say, this is who I am. I'm a king. I'm somebody. And who I am, I'm going to allow this to pour out on everybody else because God has poured so much into you and he's created you with a purpose and a plan. Jeremiah 29:11. And that plan is greater than what we ever imagined or thought. And so we have to start living in that aspect, and we got to quit destroying who we are as a person and doing things to our own bodies. And as we do this, what happens is our kids grow up stronger. Where we're weak, they become stronger. You know, they roots get stronger in them because now daddy know who he is. And because daddy know who he is, my kids know who they are. And understand Abraham now, Jacob, they bless their kids. My question to you is, what you doing with your kids? Amen?
Amen.